There's a lot of tragedy going on in the world right now, and today's video is simply going to be an offering on how we can ground ourselves and remain somewhat calm through these difficult times. Witnessing tragedy like a war unfold is overwhelming and anxiety inducing for many, I already know. But our first concern should always be for those who are directly affected. I recommend ending your days off with a prayer for the innocent people who are losing their lives, family, and livelihood. This video today is for those who are watching tragedy take place from a distance. The pain we feel isn't remotely comparable to those directly affected. I want to make that clear. But during these times, I know many of us may feel helpless and are lost with the images we have seen. Like, how could this happen? And simply don't know what to do, even though we feel like we might want to do something. First things first, acknowledge how you feel, because it's heavy, it's a lot. Suppressing your feelings here isn't going to be bliss. By acknowledging your anxiety, your fear, or anger, it's as if we take it all out of our system and throw it onto a blank canvas, and we can begin to paint a new picture with clarity. Remember, you have the tools to regulate your emotions. You are equipped with that from within, and they can be transmuted into a more positive direction instead of just sitting idle in our mind and in our heart, causing anxiety and putting us in a place of constant unease. Now, during tragedy, the information economy kicks into action, sometimes for the good, but a lot also times for the bad. Everyone is sharing images, information, and the opinions are abundant. We don't know what to do, right? Although it is important to educate ourselves so we have a base understanding of what is going on in the world. We want to educate ourselves with clarity and a strong mind, not just from an emotional mind. And as you're tuning into the world, because it's pretty much impossible not to, remember, tune into yourselves as well. You got to set some boundaries. Those images and those stories that you will see, they are real and they can knock the wind out of you. Prepare yourself first before diving in. That's the privilege you have. Recognize it is a privilege. My recommendation is give yourself 3-4 hours every single morning before you go online and see what is happening. Or better yet, catch up with the world once you've closed a chapter on your day's responsibilities, because you still have things to take care of. When you do decide to inform yourself, do it with intention. Choose your information sources like you choose a trusted friend. Be mindful of the information you're consuming and where it is coming from. You wouldn't step into a boxing match without a little bit of training, would you? In the same way, don't dive into your social feeds first thing in the morning unless you are prepared and you have equipped your mind, body, and spirit. Because if not, that is a knockout that is waiting to happen. You want to navigate difficult situations with care, understand it, but don't let it consume you. Remember, you are of no service if you allow yourself to crumble. Think of the friends you may have or the people you may know who are directly affected by these situations, and prepare yourself to be a shoulder for them to lean on if needed. The work can be done offline. You don't have to go and make a post online right away. If you feel misinformed or confused, some people feel called to post on social media. Some donate in silence. Some are just having difficult conversations offline. That is fine. And I know there may be a lot of people online who may try to guilt you or demonize you for being silent. Understand they are simply feeling overwhelmed and full of emotion. So do not take that personal, right? At times, some people often forget they themselves have been silent on many other issues. Unfortunately, the world is constantly going through tragedy. Even Ethiopia and Tigray, they have been experiencing a genocide and an ethnic cleanse for a while. And the mainstream world has been really silent about it. Like, it hasn't picked up a lot of steam. Average person doesn't know about it. Unfortunately, only some tragedies make it to the mainstream. But if you're buzzing with energy like, I gotta do something, channel it maybe online or locally. Speak to the people around you, face to face. I see there's gatherings, there's events, maybe where you can show your support, or even just like a good old conversation with a good friend and y'all can express with one another. If you have the means to, you can donate or, volunteer in some way. You can pass information along. That's where you can convert all this emotional load, the anger, the frustration, the confusion, the helplessness into actual tangible support. Think about it. Throughout history, it's always been people coming together that has brought change. And what might seem like a tiny ripple can grow into a massive wave. Connecting with others will help you keep your emotional ship steady as you go about your daily life because you still have things to take care of, don't you? I came across someone online. She's a dope creator, Morgan Lindsay. I've done podcasts with her before, and I found she has this amazing balance between activism but keeping her calm and self-care. She's out there, she's protesting, she's standing up for what she believes in, but she does it with strength and clarity. She knows when to switch gears. After hitting the streets, she hosted an evening post-protest mocktail party, creating a space for recharge and maybe conversation. Now, some will say, hey, that's a privilege. Of course, you're not wrong. But like I said, we are at a distance. The lesson here is to understand your own limits, knowing how much you can give and when you need to step back and replenish your soul. Because again, it's not even natural to consume the amount of information we consume on a day's basis. And at the end of the day, taking care of yourself isn't just an option, it's actually essential. You want to do your best to stay planted and grounded, even though it seems like everything is spiraling. Remember, you may see one image, one video, one headline, and if you're not prepared, it will knock you off your feet, throw your emotional compass completely out of whack. But you can prepare yourself before you consume and be aware. So what do? We stay grounded, you understand? Every single day, deep breathing is very effective. An effective way to reset your mind and your spirit. Same goes for meditation. I love my meditation. It's like taking a broom and just clearing out the mental clutter, the fear. I posted a guided meditation last week. If you need a guide to help you ease into that experience, check it out. But also, don't sleep on physical exercise. Go for a jog around your neighborhood, maybe a full gym session, a swim. Moving your body shifts your focus. It brings you back from those dark thoughts to the here and the now. And why is that important? Because when you're grounded, you're better equipped to think about solutions. You're better equipped to have effective conversations. Sometimes a walk in the woods or a moment under the sky can bring a perspective to your soul that no amount of doom scrolling could ever. Anytime you feel yourself slipping, come back to these grounding practices because, again, we need you to be somewhat calm. We need you to be strong. Someone may need a shoulder to lean on because they are directly connected to these tragedies. And the weight we may feel isn't comparable at all. Oh, I cannot stress that enough. So grounding yourself is a service to your community. It means you will be better equipped to support those who are in need. And again, communicate in an effective way. I also want to point out, throughout history, artists have always found a beautiful way to shed, a glimmer of light in dark times, using their crafts to offer a shift, even if it's a heartbeat, whether it's a painting or a song that captures the spirit, or even a poem that just speaks, the unreserved, undeniable truth. Artists have a special way of storytelling that can inspire hope Now, let's be clear. I am not saying that a beautiful piece of art is going to magically solve the world's problems. Not at all. There is real tragedy going on, wars, lives being lost. But still, expressing yourself a bit can offer a pause, a moment, or even provoke action. Sometimes a painting or a song may become more than that. It becomes a catalyst for change. There are songs that have become the bedrock for revolutions, images that have binded people together for a vision. So if you're an artist or a creative and you feel helpless, our expressions can offer a fresh lens to see through, a new angle that might just tip the scale towards a little action in your community. Plus, immersing yourself in creativity is also calming for the soul. There's a healing quality from the act of creating. And it's not just bringing materials together, but also a piece of ourselves in the world. And we can make sense of things for ourselves and others. And as we dive into this, let's not forget, humanity has always gone through very dark valleys, and we've made it out before. And not to downplay what we see today at all, but just to offer a perspective. Peace is not an overnight achievement, clearly. It's an ongoing process, a collective journey. And our planet is still, in many ways, a child in the classroom of the universe. And I believe we're all in this classroom together. We got our pencils, we got our notebooks ready. And as we move inch by inch towards a world where peace is more than just a word, but it's a lived experience, I want to remind you to stay grounded and to stay calm, to stay informed, but to know when to implement those boundaries. Do not lose yourself in the world online. Make sure you can be a support to those who need it, but also still take care of the things and your daily responsibilities. And I believe, you don't know, in hindsight, everything is going to be all right, but these times are tricky. And my prayers go out to everybody and all the innocent people who have lost their lives and are going through struggle. I'll see you again soon.